Warning, a level 5 goblin has escaped containment and is on the loose. Stay tuned and be on the lookout for any signs. What's up, Goblin Nation? It's Jibrian, back with some more delicious content. If you're one of the people begging for more news about Rell, then you've come to the right place. Today, we're cooking up some details about how leveling and stats will work in Rell, along with some ideas for how they'll be affecting gameplay, and which stats will probably be the most important for you to start leveling right away. There's still so much we don't know about the game, but hopefully with some deep diving and theorizing, we can fill in the gaps and get you guys ready to take on the seas. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on my next theory about Gecko Moria's plans to take over the seas and why he needs your help to do it. And while you're at it, join the Discord if you want to talk Rell or you want to find people to play with when the game releases. With over 200 members, our community grows stronger by the day. Now that we're done with introductions, buckle in because delicious times are ahead of you, and also behind you if this isn't your first Jibrian video. The first stat we'll be looking at is going to be the health stat. Usually in these kinds of games, health is one of the most important stats to level up right away. A higher health stat means you'll last longer in a fight, so be sure to put your first points into health. This is especially useful if you haven't decided what kind of character you're going to build yet. Points put into health are never a waste because every playstyle will be better with a large amount of HP. More skilled players may leave their health low early on and buff other stats to make them more effective. But for most people, health is a really safe bet, so don't be afraid to put your first levels into it. Next, we'll look at defense since it's similar to health. At first, I believed this to be a stat that reduced the damage you take based on the name. After thinking about it for a little while, that doesn't really make sense since health already increases the damage you can take. That's why I actually think the defense stat is your blocking ability. I think leveling defense will allow you to block more attacks, so this is definitely a stat you want to level if you're going to play a more tanky character. Players that have trouble timing dodges will probably also want to level defense as well, so they can stay in the fight. Let's move on to endurance. This one seems pretty obvious. Endurance will probably end up being your stamina bar, which you'll use when climbing and using Geppo. That's the air dashes for those of you that don't know. Aggressive players will probably want to level endurance so they can chase people down and make sure no one gets away. Players that want to explore should also consider leveling endurance because it will allow them to climb longer and the dashing will make movement a lot easier and faster. Now, dodging is its own mechanic, but we don't know whether or not stamina, or I guess endurance being leveled, will make your dodges recharge quicker or how it will affect it. So let's take a look at one of the more mysterious stats, willpower. As of right now, everyone thinks this is the hockey stat that will affect how strong your hockey is. Now this may be controversial, but I think everyone's wrong, and here's why.
Health endurance, none of this levels your attack power or any of that.
They actually state here that none of the stats affect attack power, so what does willpower do? I think it's the amount of hockey you have. In the show, Luffy would have run out of hockey and need to recharge, and I believe they put a similar mechanic in the game. I think we'll make hockey stronger by using it in combat or training it in some other way, and the willpower stat just affects how much we can use before needing to rest. Definitely going to be one of the most important stats in the game, so look forward to putting a lot of stats into willpower. On that note, I believe the spiritual stat is going to be similar. I had thought that this one would be fruit ability damage, but like I mentioned, they said none of the stats affect damage. For that reason, I think it's going to be a stamina meter that gets drained when you use fruit attacks. It's hard to say since Bros normally have developer settings on when they show gameplay, but there's a bar on the right side that might be the spiritual meter. If you're going to use a fruit, you should put a lot of points into the spiritual stat. The last stat we'll be looking at is the luck stat. Now this one is kind of obvious. I think the luck stat will affect your drop rates for materials and the loot you get from chests. This one is very interesting because you might be able to have a crewmate with only luck points and then you can just make them open every chest for better luck. This might even end up being a high level farming strat when you're collecting devil fruit. I'd say this one is worth putting your points into if you're really into grinding the game and want to have the best possible chance at getting good loot. So that's it for the stats. Let me know what kind of build you're going for. I think I'll probably end up putting a lot of points into luck. I think it'd be really fun to do one of my character slots, just all my points in luck, just do like as a challenge, you know? There's still so much we don't know about stats. We know the stats cap at 100 because when they showed the chart, each one had 100 points and then the symbol in the middle was filled out. We know talents cap at 500. I'll show those in a bit. We don't know how many points you get per level or, how levels even work. You might be able to grind and then get all stats to 100, which could be pretty game changing for endgame players. Overall, I think the stat system is really cool because you'll see a lot of variety in people's builds. Like some people will make really fast characters and other ones will make tanky ones. It also makes the save slots more valuable since, you can make one character one way and another character a different way and they'll play completely differently. Honestly though, something I'm more excited for is the talents, the mastery you can get for each talent. I've always really liked it in RPGs when you can level up skills like fishing and woodcutting and all that. It's a nice way to keep progressing without, out leveling the enemies, and it gives you something to do when your friends aren't online and you don't want to get too far ahead of them. And the way they're doing talents in this game is also kind of interesting because they always say that it's like a different way to progress. but I don't really know what that means because what are you progressing towards? You know what I mean? Like, are you gonna hit the level cap? Maybe leveling up your talents unlocks skill points, but that would have to be at like threshold numbers, you know? Like when you hit level 100, you get 1 skill point or something like that. While we're on the topic of talents, let's have one of the developers name all of them.
We have talents, right? So fishing, woodcutting, cooking, mining, shipwright, crafting, navigation, thieving, right?
In case you're wondering how you're gonna chop down trees or mine for things, I'll have one of the brothers explain.
You're gonna have a utility tool.
Thanks, but how does that help us?
In the utility tool, you're gonna have fishing rod, repair ships, wood cutting, an axe for wood cutting, and mining axe, okay?
Oh, okay, that's actually very helpful. Now, can we upgrade these, or are these always gonna be the same?
You guys can also upgrade your current utility tools.
Okay, but why are you sprinting around while you explain all of this?
Over here, there's tier 1 fishing, there's tier 2 fishing, there's tier 3.
So what do we gain from going up in tiers, you might ask? Well, I did ask, and I got an answer.
The more tiers you go up, I guess the rarer the fish you catch and the better meals you can cook.
Why would I want to cook a big plate of food when I could do a bunch of smaller ones?
Cooking big plates of food gives you massive progression, basically. You don't like, this is another form of progression.
Well, that was very useful for some of those, but you might be wondering, how does crafting work?
Every time you upgrade your weapon, it's going to require different materials. You have to like literally explore around the game to find.
Oh, okay. How many times can you upgrade your weapon?
You can upgrade your weapon about 20 times.
Okay, let's take a look at thievery. Alright, I'm not going to do the thing where I pretend they're answering my questions. So basically there's a lockpicking minigame, and depending on your level of thievery, it will be easier or harder. There are 3 difficulties to the locks. You can see the minigame on the screen. So I'm really into the fishing aspect in these kinds of games, so take a look at this edit I made to show the average fishing experience.
Yeah, what? Okay. No. Dude, oh my. I lost my minigame. Hey man, I think you might have to come on my computer.
Pause. So there's also the shipwright skill, which honestly I think is mostly going to be leveled up by repairing your ship, and it'll probably help you repair it even faster. I hope I'm wrong and there's actually more to it, but I don't want to overhype and, you know, set my expectations too high and then have it just be like a simple stat for repairing your ship or, you know, crafting new pieces. I have seen a lot of people kind of making up what they think the game is going to be like and then running with the idea. Like, a lot of people think the game's going to have like, you know, like I'm the cook on the crew, or you're, you know, I'm the navigator. And I don't really think that's built into the game from what I've seen. They haven't shown us any menus where you could, you know, have the roles or anything. I think it's more like, you know, unofficially, one of your friends just levels is cooking a lot, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, and one last thing we should look at are these posters. I believe these are perks you can either find or learn somehow, and there's like 3 categories you can see here. These are probably really going to change how people play, so be on the lookout for more of these in future sneaks. Maybe they'll be in the background for a little bit, because they didn't talk about them, but they were still, you know, screenshotted. That's all I got for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll be back next week, or I guess, you know, Friday through Sunday-ish. I'm not really sure. I don't have set days I upload, but I always try to have 2 vids a week at least now. So stay tuned for more. Oh, and let me know if you spotted the goblin. I kind of hit him a little bit, but people always find him. Oh yeah, shout out to this guy for the video idea, and also this guy in the Rell Discord because he asked me to.
Yeah, what? Okay. No. Dude, oh my. I lost my minigame. Hey man, I think you might have to come on my computer.